and really helps with the if you can clear the wave and have the ability to 1v1 in the side lane, then you're just kind of the monster in the side lane. So
Yeah, definitely. And no one does anything better than Akali in terms of the 1v1, so we'll have to see how that goes. We are just going to head to a quick 3-minute break here as we just sort some things on the back end, so bear with us. We'll be back shortly and we'll be hopping right into this game between Samjay and Ex Machina.
We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. Is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. But don't get left behind on the road. Don't get left behind on the road. Don't get left behind on the road. We play Tupac, Sharak, and we turn our music up when he raps about hope. We hold our thumbs high and hope someone is kind enough to give us all a ride. And we wouldn't have a clue if we'd make it back to or even where we'd go. But we don't need a map, everywhere is home. A Ford stopped on the street, said where you trying to be. We said we don't really care, we'll know it when we're there. We took on down the road, he flipped on his radio. Santeria started slow, so we knew that we were close. Home is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. 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 Home is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road.
Hello and welcome back here to 2022 Winter Finals of the Newell presented by Amazon. I am Cookie. Nope, you are Cookie. I am Clear. It's been a long day. Dear me, it's been a long day. We're back though. Lobby should be sorted now, so thanks for sticking with us there. Before we went, we were discussing some of the champions we expect to be picked in this draft, so we'll have to see when we head over into this. Just for those of you at home, the draft has already been done, so there won't see any proxy picks, so everything we see live will be going into the game. And one thing we didn't get to cover was that these teams played yesterday, actually. So we were informed before the stream they played in NSC yesterday, and it was actually Samjay who came out on top 2-1 overall. So we'll have to see. I guess this is the grudge match for Ex Machina. Can they get revenge after yesterday? Can they bring it back? Maybe even get a clean 2-0. Keep that streak going that they've had in this losers bracket run on the new. We'll have to see if they can turn it around after yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of makes it a lot more rivalry going on, right? Like it's like, okay, we lost yesterday, but now we have seen, well, whatever kind of like draft or whatever strategies you will play against us, then even though there's only one day in between, these a serious league players, they probably have something up their sleeve to try something different.
Definitely. I mean, it's exciting because it adds that extra weight for the players as well. Do Sam J get too confident and maybe they draft slightly daft in game one and try and cheese a little bit? Well, it's interesting when these stories develop like this across the leagues and players, like you say, they get comfortable with each other and then start thinking about these counters and stuff like that. It just adds that depth to these storylines that just makes it all the more exciting.
And hopefully for Ex Machina, they can try to bring up something new and hot for us, because we're in draft now, so the ban should be coming soon. So the first ban is Echo, as we were talking about. Echo is kind of priority, and Caitlyn coming out as well.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Caitlyn ban, like you said, it's not a bad answer into the Twitch, so it makes sense to take that one away. Lulu going to go as well. That will be in favor of or taking that away from a Twitch. Evelyn already taken off the board, so we will not be seeing Evelyn come through. And first insta pick will be the Nami there for DMU. Will we see a Lucian come through pairing with that? I guess it's the best response, right?
Yeah, I mean, Lucian Nami will probably be coming through, and we can see the Syndra. Wow, pick quite early, like saying that Syndra can probably go through against any mid lane champions, and we do see the Lucian come through, and Renekton is coming through as well in the top lane.
Okay, so that's interesting. I always see Renekton, and my mind always goes to the potential of Nidalee. It's that like common pro duo in the top lane, so we'll have to see. And Ashheimer locked in here as well. It's almost as if we're watching DRX play here with this very obnoxious bot lane in the Ashheimer dinger. Viego going to be the ban coming through from Ex Machina here as well.
Yeah, Viego has been quite strong, so we do see a lot of jungle bans here. Lilia is quite surprising. Haven't seen Lilia in quite a while, but is one of those champions who cleared really fast. And J4 coming out as well.
Just a lot of jungle bans. Like you say, there's at least 4 on the face of it. You kind of got Wukong, Echo, Karthus taken away as well. So we're just really, really narrowing down this mid lane champion pool. Xin Zhao will be the pick for Ex Machina. Now, Xin Zhao is not something I've seen picked in this sort of environment in a long time.
Yeah, Xin requires a lot of... Oh, wow, and it will be against the Lee Sin, so we have maybe a bit more action in the early game, given both junglers have quite a lot of damage in the early game. Maybe try to do more things, and the mid lane will be your kind of standard Azir, Syndra lane, and top lane also kind of standard Renekton on lane. So it is the junglers that kind of make this very much interesting.
And when I see junglers like the Xin Zhao, like the Lee Sin, my mind always goes to what can the solo lanes provide in terms of setup for ganks. Because that's where, these type of junglers, the Lee Sin and the Xin Zhao, who have that really good gank potential but don't often have the best setup, where is it going to be? So obviously you've got the stun out of the Renekton. You've got the EQ out of Syndra, which is going to set up, and the Ornn knock-up as well. Azir maybe not offering quite as much. I don't want to ignore, though, this bot lane matchup, because Nami Lucian is such an early prio lane. How does that go against the Ashheimer? How can we expect to see DMU play into this poke-heavy bot lane?
They will have to just try to go through it, try to either call for jungle, and then just see if you can try to get a kill. Obviously, like, Nami Lucian is a kill lane, and Heimerdinger is a poke lane, so you can try to do the constant all-ins and try to do that, but obviously Ashheimer is kind of the new hot thing on the table. But I'm sure teams will have a lot of experience playing against Ashheimer, given that, well, I've seen many Ashheimer lanes. I used to be so hyped about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's just a normal thing.
Basically, yeah, it's that everyone is playing it in solo queue because you see the likes of Beryl playing it and you think, oh, that's interesting, that's shiny, that's new. Maybe not so much now. One thing, though, that I guess in years gone by, Lucian would not be seen as a good scaling AD carry. Like, he'd kind of get out of lane and sort of be a bit meh because his lack of range and such. But now with this pairing that's come through with the Nami, Lucian actually scales quite well. So could we see DMU try to play just safe in lane possibly, or is that really not what a Lucian Nami wants to do?
Not really what a Lucian Nami wants to do. Like, you can play safe, but in the end, you're picking Lucian Nami. You should be the one who trying to abuse this kind of potential to just snowball the game out of control. Like, it's one of your win conditions. Like, if you kind of just like blast open the bot lane completely with Lucian Nami, like other champions on the map cannot answer that. You're playing against like a Syndra who needs a bit of scaling before like one-shotting people. You're playing against the likes of Ornn, who obviously is trying to scale. So if Lucian Nami gets ahead, game is, well, I don't want to say it's over, but like it can be ahead enough for that the game is over.
Okay. So you mentioned there about Syndra having that little bit of scaling option. Now with how she's been changed, and she picks up the splinters and then evolves her abilities. Once she gets to the double Q, the lane gets, or lanes generally get harder when you're playing into a Syndra with double Q. But Azir obviously is quite, got decent range, decent poke as well. So do we think Azir is going to be able to scale into the mid game like you would want an Azir to do, or is the Syndra just going to bully this mid lane?
Azir should be fine. Azir, the range is quite enough to, get enough farm, clear the wave quite safely. So Azir into Syndra is one of those like mages who are doing fine into Syndra. So Syndra wouldn't have that much of an easy time trying to set up those splinter stacking or kill pressure, just because Azir is just so far away from you. So it's a very safe lane, I would say, unless jungle intervention, obviously.
Yeah, and with the junglers we've seen picked, you would hope that we see some prior mid, right? Because that lane, I think, if you can free up either one of those two laners, especially the Syndra, I think Syndra has quite powerful roams because of the Scatter the Weak on her E ability. One thing we didn't actually get a chance to pick up on because of the speed of the draft being pre-done, Refresh got his own, right? So the top Ornn player got his own. I imagine being the top Ornn, you know how to play into the Renekton lane. Does that change anything with him being so good on Ornn? Because normally I think Renekton has a decent laning phase into Ornn.
Yes and no. Ornn is, I would say Ornn does have like a pretty good time into Renekton. Like if you survive kind of the early phase, and then you have like a little window where you are actually winning the trades, and then until Renekton gets the Blade of the Rune Kings, if he goes for that, and then that you kind of start to lose again. But Ornn is, yeah, if it's your on like main on one trick, getting the on into Renekton, you should be chilling. Like you should be actually trying to maybe do some solo bolos, this actually might happen. I'm not even lying. Like Ornn is such a, I wouldn't say it's like super mechanically skilled, but like knowing the limits on Ornn is quite important, because bruiser players with their healing tend to be overconfident that they can just survive your all in, but Ornn has some base damage and can kind of just delete you if you overstep or just like take one turret hit by accident. So we could look out for that.
They don't call him the tank, mage, assassin, AD carry, all-round, top lane, dominant champion for no reason. Ornn, like you say, I think has a deceptive amount of magic damage, which catches people off. Like his brittle proc, the AP ratios are pretty high in it, or rather not the AP, like the base damage rather is quite good in it. So yeah, it catches a lot of people off guard. And just kind of like taking these drafts as a whole, one thing I kind of like that Ex Machina have done is they've got a lot of ranged CC. So you've got the Ornhorn, the Scar of the Weak from Syndra, you've got the Crystal Enchanted Arrow from the Ashe. They have a lot of pick potential, which I don't know if the short range of a Lucian, of a Lee Sin, of a Renekton can really answer if the game is in an even state.
Oh, and the game has started, and we can see Ex Machina. Oh my god, going into, might catch a Pana Eva here.
Nice heads up ward there from Pani Iwa. Will spot out the Ex Machina machine team here. Just going to recall off, so nothing too crazy there. Like I say, nice ward from Pani Iwa. We'll spot that out. And We will have to see here how these junglers decide to path. We alluded to the fact that both of these junglers are going to want to try and play around early ganking pressure. Do they look to path towards top, or maybe this explosive bot lane of the solution Nami gets the attention it desires?
Yeah, looks like Ex Machina are probably going to start to the top side and trying to... Not quite sure. So if they're starting at the top side, or are they just defending? If they start at top side, then they might try to do something cheesy, because usually you don't want to like walk straight into Lucian Nami right away. So maybe it's some cheese gang into Razor, trying to get out Razor's flash.
And how just notice Razor going with the Halo Blades here as well, so hasn't opted for the more pokier Arcane Comet or Airy that we see from some Azirs when they do go into a Syndra. Some tend to like the extra poke for that, but Razor going with a slightly more aggressive choice in the Halo Blades here. And as we get a nice look over Vodka here in this top side, Lats will be starting Raptors as well. For those of you who haven't seen anything pre-season, both junglers here opting for the Moss Stomper jungle pet. Moss Stomper is going to be the extra tenacity and shield for both of these junglers, and that's always going to be nice on a jungler that wants to dive in onto backlines like the Lee Sin, like the Xin Zhao, will help as well. Nice overshot here of mid.
We can see how the meta is kind of settled. So before we see a lot of the other two options, the red and blue option. But now junglers, the bruiser one, really settled on the green one, thinking it is kind of the best one to use. I'm not too sure why, but I assume that the really healthy clear just helps a lot of these junglers to come ahead in this 2v2s. Like, you'll be always full health when you start a 2v2, so that really helps, I guess.
Some early trading here in the top lane, looking like Refresh going to be slightly in favor of that. And again, these junglers just going through the motions here. Vodka actually has opted for a full clear, so has cleared his entire top side, taken the Raptors as well. So it does have a one camp advantage, but it means that last fan here will be first to the Scuttle Crab. Remember now, they have a slightly late spawner time, so Xin Zhao can just try and maybe look for something in his bot lane. But I think with the push coming through from Ex Machina, maybe we'll see some early action here.
Yeah, both junglers might spot each other in the Krugs, it seems. But actually, Vodka finishing the Krugs and will probably come and hover and check. Vodka going for... Oh, now going into Tribush, maybe looking for last plan, having the level advantage, but a bit too late.
Yeah, and the Sky's Bloom will spot out that crab's been taken there. So I think Vodka can just head up towards the top side. Crab will be spotted out on a ward here. So it's actually Syndra, I hadn't realized, has been losing in this mid lane. As a nice QE there. We'll get a bit of poke traded back. As top lane, actually though, we didn't manage to see it there, but it is the X7 Academy top laner getting first blooded there on his signature Ornn. Hoodoo just getting the advantage on the Renekton.
Yeah, that is fairly surprising, given that we were talking about that Refresh knows a lot about Ornn, and I guess it's just the spear, the damage that comes out from Renekton can be sometimes very surprising at the level 4, level 5 mark, and bot lane some action going on.
Tim just stepping up slightly too far there. Good trade back actually though onto Soxu. We'll get this Lucian down to about half health, so being forced to pop the potion there. And, I mean, to be expected, this bot lane for XE. As I say that, it's a nice flash out from Tim to avoid the Nami bubble. Cleanse going to be used from Soxu there. Let's just getting some poke back. It's trade of summoners, and I think that actually was better off for the bot lane of DMU.
Yeah, it was, and a very, very good patience play from Soxu there. Not blindly, bloodthirstily dashing for the kill and just dash back into safety, not going for that 1-for-1 trade or potential 1-for-0 trade. And we can see Vodka trying to maybe set up a dive or a gank here in the top lane. Actually would probably just offer the recall. Not something we see quite often. We see Lee Sins usually want to be more active on the map, but we have seen Vodka kind of just happily clearing the maps twice now on the second clear now.
And you know, off the back of that is going to base and get the Tiamat there as well. So you pointed this out in draft. Ravenous Hydra in preseason has been the item to go for, and that's exactly what Vodka will do. Will offer this Lee Sin so much more clear through his jungle paths. He'll be able to clear the likes of Krugs and Raptors a lot quicker. As Xe here are trying to look for something in this bot side. Last's going to use the Hawk Shot there just to spot out the bot lane, but Vodka is here as well. Sox is already low on mana as Last Fan just diving in on his own. Will not be able to get a kill there. Will actually die himself as Vodka takes the Q through there. He's going to ward hop onto Last, already half health. A nice bubble there coming through from Pani Iwa. Razor is here as well, and that is a disaster for Xe in this bot lane as they try to make the play and lose 3 members across the board.
Wow, all of a sudden the scoreboard is just 4-0 and 2k lead to DMU. And such a perfect read from DMU, knowing that Labsfan will try something bot lane, and everyone, including Razor and Vodka, are just there to counter gang. And such good, yeah, a very good focus as well, just taking down the Sinjao quite early. And now, having that lead, they are going to reach their first items much quicker and be able to maybe contest those early objectives much effectively.
It's advantages across the board here as we take a quick look at the scoreboard. Look at the items coming through for this DMU side. We've got Lost Chapter already on the Azir. It's going to provide so much more mana to stay in lane. We've already got a Serrated Dirk and a Pickaxe on the Lucian as well, so this trade's going to be constantly going in favour of the Lucian Nami. And despite being pushed in constantly, a small CS lead in the bot lane as well for DMU's bot lane will always feel nice. As Vodka here just going to clear the blue buff. We're going to have Herald up slightly soon. Dragon is on the map as well. We'll have to see where the prio is for both these teams here. But with this advantage, like you say, objective's going to be going in the favour of DMU. You would like to think so, at least.
The problem with Ex Machina is that they are quite reliant on Syndra to get ahead, to have that kind of scaling damage. Ashheimer bot lane, yes, good in lane, but don't do as much in the team fight in terms of pure damage. So I would think Ex Machina really need to try something mid lane, try to have a bit more focus in mid lane, maybe using the enchanted arrow, Ash arrow, into the mid lane when they hit 6. Just try to do something in mid lane to try to kind of, yeah, in this whole of like 3k of deficit, you just have to try somewhere, and I do think that mid lane is the way to go for Ex Machina.
As we speak about mid lane, we're going to get a nice shot here as Razor's going to get the push. Going to move up to this top river. It's Vodka who's actually started up the Herald here. Probably will be able to take this uncontested, given the fact that Last Fan is down on that bot side again. Has just hit 6 here, so has the Crescent Guard available. He's going to be trying to, again, make a play on this bot side. Sweeper has been used here. Hopefully not a disaster here for X. He's going to be using the vision to their advantage. The Sox are just stepping up there. Will be tagged up from the Ash W. Dash out to safety. And Lucian just going to use this ultimate just to try and get the health bars down. And as I say, that does that very successfully onto this Heimerdinger. Meanwhile, Vodka was able to secure the Herald here. So I'd say a win across the map for DMU. As Refresh is under a bit of pressure here. Ornhorn coming out. Will land onto 2 there, but I think with Vodka showing up, just knows he has to back down there. Just able to use that to disengage. Could DMU look for the dive, though?
They could try, but Refresh is very healthy, so they probably are just going to put down the Herald and just get the top lane platings. At the same time, Ex Machina starting up the Dragon and will just take it uncontested. And top lane might still be thinking about a dive.
Ooh, I mean, a nice arrow out of Ash. I don't think will actually lead to anything there, as DMU decided not to take any damage into this very healthy Ornn, like you say. Dragon going to be picked up for Ex Machina here, so a little bit in their advantage. They will now be one step closer to Dragon Soul, but still with a 3,000 gold lead difference. It's looking very good for DMU in this early game. As I say that, though, Last Fan has found Razor overextended here. Does have dash available, and we'll just dash straight to safety there, so no threat onto him. But bot lane, there was a kill onto the Ash.
It's probably some combination of the Lucian Nami shenanigans, or the, I mean, they have insane kill pressure, and one misstep from these Ashheimer bot lane can lead them to the grave. And given that Lucian already had a Serrated Dirk, and one of Pickaxe, having such like a lead in the bot lane makes these solo kills a lot easier, and now they will take the platings in the bot lane and enlarging this lead it feels for Ex Machina everywhere is just losing. So bot lane not doing quite well, mid lane kind of getting shoved in all the time, and always Syndra has to recall at low health and use teleport to get back. Top lane, not actually top lane wasn't doing too bad except for the solo bolo that happened earlier on. So really down to Labs fan to do something. They have to like swing the momentum back, otherwise they can't just wait for scaling, I think.
I would say not, because their team, you know, they're behind already, 4k gold. Just looking at jungle alone, Lee Sin's been able to base and pick up the Ravenous Hydra, will already be starting to stack up towards the 40 stacks and get that additional AD on the item as well. So yeah, I think he has to force something. Last has to force something now more than ever. Maybe around mid lane, like you said. Sand's still 0-0-0, so still, you know, fine. Maybe hard when Razor has picked up the Merc Treads already, so a nice heads up buy there, I think, just playing for lane, not wanting to lose these trades to this Syndra.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why there isn't more of a mid lane focus. Like, mid lane is the lane where you have the setup and the damage from the Syndra, and combined with the Xin Zhao. But never mind, Vodka might be trying for a dive here. Thinks twice. Maybe the minion wave being gone, so it might be too risky for Vodka to do any fancy Lee Sin Dragon's Rage there. And Lapsfan just staying patiently in the bot lane. It's the third time we see Lapsfan trying to do something bot lane. Oh my god, never mind, there's a solo bolo top lane.
And there is that ranked 1 on refresh. Will get the trade back in the solo boiler return. I didn't actually see he'd managed to pick up the Frozen Heart. I'm guessing that did some work in that fight. Yeah, refresh gonna get the solo kill onto Hoodoo.
Yeah, as we said before, like early game Renekton does have the advantage at level 4, level 5, level 6, but afterwards, once kind of like the early item falls off and Renekton is not building the Brittle Rune Kings, Ornn will kind of like tankiness just kind of builds up with the base damage that, you know, will be favorable trades for Ornn all day basically from now on.
Nice response to see from Ex Machina. Going to finally get a kill on the board. We're 1.5 minutes out from Infernal Drake spawning. With Ex Machina already picking up the initial Drake, can they secure this one and start to build their way towards that soul? That could be their way back into the game. As Renekton is going to take top tower here. And with top tower down, you can just see Vodka's not afraid to walk in and take away some of these camps from Last Fan. Hoodoo just having so much priority despite that solo kill on the top side. Will give DMU so much space on this map.
Yeah, once the turret falls, then usually that indicates you lose. Never mind, mid lane, Lapsan find something here.
Yeah, Razor just going to be fine to dash out there, I think. Maybe under threat does have the Emperor's Divide available, so wisely just going to back up and recall his bot lane. There's another kill going the way of the DMU Lucian. Nami picks paying dividends here for DMU in this bot side as they continue to get advantages in the 2v2.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Never mind, big fight in the mid lane.
Oh, there's that Emperor's Divide coming through from Razor. Crescent Guard dropped off, and Razor chose his moment perfectly to get in there. Double kill going the way of the jungle mid here for DMU.
That is not what Exeter wanted. Like, it just seems like everything they're doing, every like play they're trying, is just not been working out. And the only saving grace is Refresh getting, you know, a bit of a lane lead, but it really doesn't matter. Top lane has no impact at all at this game, and now it seems that... Oh, never mind, Ornn comes in.
Yeah, Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well is going to land, so the Renekton's going to be stunned up here. Hoodoo does have his ultimate available, though. He's going to be able to slice and dice to wear that one, but a nice knock-up coming through from Refresh. Slash coming through from Hoodoo there, will heal him back up and actually will be able to get out there. So despite being in such a disadvantage, he just walks his way out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, like, you have the Ash Arrow from afar and Heimer throws a few grenades or some turret shots. And all your damage is just on, and it just takes a lot of time to kill Renekton, even though Renekton, yeah, just takes a lot of time to kill Renekton. And in the meantime, DMU does secure this Inferno Dragon, is starting the Dragon stack towards... what map is this? I can't see it.
Chemtech.
Chemtech map. Great. So it is the new map. It is... to be fair, the Chemtech soul is not like the most... favorable soul, I would say. despite the initial hype, is not that great. Just given that it's quite conditional. Like the Chemtech Soul only works when you are under 50% health, and that works well with some champions. You know, the Fioras, the Siluses, and all that. But not, yeah, I don't see it. But either team will especially like the Soul.
Doesn't really seem like it, like you say, a slightly underwhelming Soul given the comps, but the map itself is going to provide a lot. We're going to get some extra vision, extra movement for some of these teams with the enchanted blast cones as well. Razor is going to get the TP cancelled there as there is a fight in the mid lane. And Soxu, after such a good laning phase, he's going to be caught out there, overextended. Last fan will be able to pick that one up now, 2-2, trying to come back into this game on this Xin Zhao.
Yeah, this is the break that Exeter needs, and unfortunately the kills kind of went to the Xin Zhao. Never mind, Ornhorn comes in trying to catch a Voodoo.
Refresh here, will use the Ornhorn, as you say, trying to catch a Hoodoo and just going to run this one out to safety there. Yeah, no threat at all onto this Renekton and too much mobility. As Vodka will just drop the Herald mid. That's tier 1 mid down in favour of DMU. Can Shelly get off another charge here? Looks like it. So a nice chunk onto the tier 2 as well.
Yeah, and having that mid tier 1 broken, it is a lot more dangerous for Exeter now. It's because once you get the 2 towers, so the mid lane tower and the side lane tower, that gives you a lot of like pathways into the enemy jungle. So if we look at the top jungle of Exeter, that will soon be DMUs, because DMUs have already established their vision line on the topside river, and now they will probably looking to extend it into DMU's topside jungle, and that creates a lot of problem for Exeter, because DMU can have a pretty fast Baron with Azir and Lucian, and that can create some threats, and Exeter, as we all know, in the back on the back foot, and might not be able to contest these objectives when they spawn.
Speaking of objectives, 2 minutes now till the next Infernal Dragon. No, it's not Infernal. I got tricked by the... that's a bit of an observer bug, just for everyone at home. It tricked me, so for the Chemtech Dragon to come online. And just take a quick look here at the state of the map. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is actually going to come out here. Ornhorn laid on top as well. There's the Unleashed Power coming through from Sanu, and that's a shutdown on the Azir, going the way of Refresh. Now a bit of extra gold into this tanky Ornn as there's more fighting. Lucian actually traded 1-for-1 with Tim on this Heimerdinger as well. So the map is just crazy at the minute.
Yeah, a lot of fights going on, and Vodka might still be looking for a steal, but in trouble with himself.
Nice dash out there onto the control ward. The Unleashed Power will land, or Scatter the Weak, sorry, will land here as topside. Pani EY is actually making this a 2 versus 1. Refresh is very healthy though. Gets a good knock-up onto both. They're trying to kite the way out here. Take a look at the minimap, because in River we've got red members moving down. Sana, AD carry, and jungler actually. Everybody's coming down for this one. They thought they had the advantage in the 2 versus 1, but Exeter show up with numbers here. They're going to try and take down the sacrificial lamb of Renekton, but with a flash from Ashe there, they're going to get one onto the Nami as well. It's 2 kills going the way of Exeter. Vodka looking very caught out here. A nice kick back. Actually, they're going to trade 2 kills here. They have turned this one around with the response from the Azir as well. Soxu's still very healthy here. Vodka's just carrying the backside of this fight as DMU look to wipe Exeter off the map. There is Baron in 30 seconds, and that will be a clean ace going the way of DMU.
Wow, Vodka is just the best leader in the world. Like, that was such a huge play, such a nice flank from the river. Like, it looked so good for Exeter, but in the end, DMU took all the kills back, and as Dragon is spawning, that means DMU will have the Dragon, and the tier 2 of Exeter mid lane will also fall as well. And the gold lead now balloons to around 8k. It is a pretty hard gold lead, especially when your Lee Sin is so fed with the 2 items, with the Hydra and the Gore Drinker. I don't see any, like, he's basically 1 item ahead of say Xin Zhao. Well, actually not quite, but we'll see what he buys when he bases.
This is scary. I kind of said in draft, I was worried about the Lucian Nami, particularly because of the lack of range, but when they're so ahead, and they also have such a good enabling team, that's not as scary. when you've got a fed Azir, it's also not that scary because Razor now 4-1-3 has picked up the Nationals Tooth alongside the Leandra. He's got a stopwatch as well there for safety, so can dash in, pop the Emperor's Divide, pop the stopwatch, and still be really safe and buy time for the rest of the team as well. Pings coming through onto this top side. It is Razor looking caught out here with Vodka showing on that ward. I think Exeter are happy to just walk that one away here. Let Razor farm this wave, sorry. And now Baron is on the map, so how does the fight around Baron go? We will have to see if they need a 10k gold lead, by the way, Cookie. Can Exeter fight their way back into this one?
Well, they have their method, so they can always use the Ash Arrow to find a pick, but obviously in a 10k gold lead, you have to get that pick and just like run for the hills. The problem is you kind of want your Ornn to be in bot lane right now, just to catch up the waves, but oh, never mind, the pick might be coming in.
Ornn's going to go wide, a nice flash forward there. Dashes out for everybody on DMU as Lucian trying everybody can to peel. Renekton has TP'd in behind and it's already 1 dead for Exeter, 2 dead now as this fight is just split up. The money is too favourable for DMU as they're going to wipe Exeter across the board. Sanu just trying to kite this one out here. Does maybe have kill pressure onto Soxu. But look at DMU already pushing in this mid wave. Baron is on the map as well. Paniua will try to stop this Syndra. It's an absolute bloodfest in the mid lane. Oh dear.
Yeah, not sure why Paniua tried that. In any case, DMU does collect the Baron, and the purple buff will allow them to try on some of these inhibitor turrets. Yeah, gold lead is 12.5k, and really tough for Exeter to do anything. I really applaud their effort into defending the Baron, or defending the mid-pro at least. Like, it showcased that they are really determined team. Like, it's like some teams when they're just really behind, they will just be like really passive and not do anything. But Exeter does show us that they're a very proactive team. And there's a TP mid lane for that wave. Okay, cool.
I'm wondering if maybe we could have a look at this. How do Exeter... I mean, this game, save for an insane players. Hold that thought here. Vodka's got yet another flank as the kit will come through. Sana just can't do anything there. Does pop the ultimate, but he will die solo in this bot lane. But as I was about to say is, what do Exeter have to do in this next game to change this? I mean, my eyes are immediately drawn to this bot lane draft, and maybe there's something they could do there, but it feels like they're definitely going to have to change something in the draft at least to maybe try and come back in game 2.
I think they have to recognize what their draft does, honestly. Well, they have to recognize that the carry is not in the bot lane. The carry, never mind, there's a fight going on trying, but Lee Sin just so tanky, it just doesn't matter when you hit those Heimer and Ash arrows, and which goes into my point, as this inhibitor tower is getting taken, is that your Ash Heimer, never mind, Hoodoo getting in trouble?
Yeah, Sterix has already gone down here. His team are just too busy taking the rest of the map. That shutdown again going to go to the Ornn. Very unfortunate there. DMU have the numbers disadvantage, but they're still going to keep this pressure up on this top side. That will be the second inhib down here for DMU. Stun's going to land onto Razor. I think they just look to try and disengage and walk this one out. And that's exactly what they're going to do here. Recall with the Baron buffs and look to regroup for this bottom lane. I'm guessing 46 seconds now on the Drake as well.
Yeah, so going back to my previous point is that they just didn't recognize that Syndra is the key player, the key carry in their team comp, and they just didn't play for Syndra basically. Like Labs, I think he tried a couple ganks to help Sana Owa to get ahead, but Sana Owa was just in lane, kind of just getting constantly poked by the Azir. But Azir is constantly like, I don't know, like you have to like with all the like Azir is good at poking, but Syndra is good at killing, so you just have to play to that. And trying to go to your Ash Heimer lane, which is a poke lane, and try to get a kill over Lucian Nami doesn't make sense to me. So if they draw Syndra again, they just have to think about like what the champion does, and if they want to play bot lane, they need a more bot lane. Never mind, the Ornn comes in.
Ash Arrow obviously being used, but Razor on this backside sweeps up the Exeter backline, and that will cause disaster. Stopwatch pop there as well. will just be able to walk out on this backside as Hoodoo just goes through everybody. It's 4 dead already for Exeter as the X7 Academy top laners trying to do what they can, flash through, but the heals from Nami will keep Razor alive. It is a clean ace for DMU as game 1 goes in their favor. From minute 1, they had favorable matchups across the board and they were able to convert this one, Cookie. What a great game here and a statement going into game 2 for DMU.
Yeah, very disciplined play from DMU and like really, really good read in the early mid game that allows them to collect this enormous lead that basically snowballed the game from there. And Exeter, like obviously very valiant effort in trying to like recover from that huge leads, but not able to succeed. There was some like slivers of hope like in the bot lane when they were chasing down 2 members of DMU, but DMU obviously having that gold lead just come back and 3v5 the rest of the Exeter team. So very good, I would say pretty good performance overall from both teams, and I would just like to see Exmacula just thinking about like what kind of game do they want to play. Like if you're playing a proactive jungler, then you have to be able to say, okay, I recognize which lanes are important for my team composition and go for those. And yeah, so they'll have to have a think about that.
Definitely. I mean, the Xin Zhao pick on its own was already, you know, he's not that popular at the minute, but like you say, identifying their strengths, which was the Syndra. We saw moments of brilliance. Refresh in the top lane, he was able to get a return solo kill despite getting first blood. He got his signature on as well, so there was moments, you know, but I think player of the game, at least in that one, Vodka on that Lee Sin was just able to do so much in the early game. He really facilitated his entire team and was always in the right place, it felt, at the right time.
Yeah, Vodka... oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Go on.
Vodka, like... in early game, like, he didn't do much except for, like, clearing twice in the jungle, but those counter ganks were so crucial, and in the mid game he really shined after like farming for the first item. A lot of junglers in this patch rely on this first item spike, including Hecarim and I guess now Lee Sin as well, with the Ravenous Hydra coming through. So Lee Sin with the Ravenous Hydra actually doing so much work in the early mid game, and I'm quite impressed with how Vodka was playing.
So we'll have to see in the next game, can Exeter turn this one around? 1-0 currently in favour of Sam J. Is a repeat of last night's NSE result. We're going to take another short break, but we'll be right back to find out the answer to that question. So stick around as we see if DMU can close this one out in game 2.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Hello and welcome back to the Newell presented by Amazon. This is the 2022 Winter Finals for League of Legends, and we are in the losers bracket semi-finals between Samjay and Ex Machina. Game 1 saw Samjay take a decisive victory over Ex Machina with some great plays facilitated by their jungler Vodka. Cookie was just an all-out bloodbath. But like I say, DMU came out on top. What are we expecting to see in Game 2 changed up? Maybe from both teams. Do Samjay run it back? Who knows?
I want to see how deep these players' champion pool is, because there are a lot of interesting picks that I kind of want to see. I want to see like things like Camille, Fiora, the more kind of Silas, like more kind of like melee fight champions, because we see in the first game both teams drafted a very conservative, well, I say conservative, more poke, more range, standard tank engage compositions. Especially from DMU. DMU's comp is literally like the comp you think that League of Legends is. You have a top lane bruiser / tank with on Renekton, and you have a mid lane control mage. You have your Lee Sin as a playmaker, and the Lucian Nami as a strong bot lane. That's kind of usually how League of Legends works. Very similar side on Exeter, like having another like control mage / assassin mid. Top lane is just Ornn. Jungle, Sinjao, playmaker, and bot lane, the kind of like new thing with the Ashheimer thing, but still very standard in modern standards. So I want to see like any kind of like things that you can throw out. This is at a time, especially for Ex Machina, given that we are on game point.
I mean, we'll have to see. Like you say, they picked a nice shiny modern thing in the bot lane, and it didn't quite go to plan. I think the crux of it, to be honest, was the Xin Zhao pick. I don't think that it could keep up with the Lee Sin. It's ironic because Lee Sin is like a slow clearing jungler, but I think when it came to actual like plays, Vodka just found those the right plays at the right time, and Xin Zhao as a champion just struggled. Straight up just struggled. You said a lot in the first game about facilitating the strengths for Exeter, and in the first game that was the Syndra. If we were to see them pick up like something in the top lane, like a Camille, maybe that opens things up for Exeter to play through. Do we think that could help?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in the last game, Exeter played a usually we talk about points of pressure in terms of drafting, and your pressure point is kind of in your mid lane for Exeter in the last game, given you have the Syndra. QE into a kill combo with Xin Zhao. But what DMU did was they had top lane, Renekton having that early on slight kill pressure on which capitalized on into a kill, and also took all the platings in the top lane using the Herald, and bot lane the kill lane Lucian Nami. So you have two threats, and usually as a jungler you can't go into help two lanes. So therefore that kind of puts Exeter in a limbo. Xin Zhao had to decide to either I go and cover bot or cover top, but obviously I did say this too many times, the answer is to do the counter attack in the mid pressure point. So I want to see that, since Exeter wants to play, since they picked Xin Zhao, I think that they want to play like more aggressively. So I would like to see more aggressive comms coming out, like the picks I said is Fiora and Camille. Other options definitely exist. Maybe a melee mid laner like Silas, Zed, Echo. But Echo might be just permabanned. We don't know. Or maybe if you say, okay, we don't want to play this high tempo game, how about we go into the traditional farming game? Pick up the Kindred, pick up the Karthus, pick up the Hecarim. Hecarim might be just be permabanned, but there are other champions that does this farming job well, that allows you to scale into the late game. So Exeter should be the one making the changes. For DMU, they might be just happy to just sit this out and just say, okay, this is what worked. We might just stick with it. The traditional comp, the traditional top lane tank, traditional mid lane mage, and just a bot lane. So
I think you kind of highlight the point well, is in game one's draft, we saw so many junglers taken away in the bans. Like the Lilia was taken away, the Evelynn, even the flexible junglers like the Echo, the Wukong, even Karthus was taken away as well. But that still left a lot in the pool that we didn't see. Kindred, you brought Graves. I don't remember being banned and Graves wasn't considered. There still feels like there's options in the pool to go that will still go deeper, sure. But I guess at this level, the question is, do these players feel comfortable on them? I just wonder, yeah, you're right. Like, if you can pick something that's going to scale a bit better, like a Kindred, is that going to be a better answer into this, like, heavy, aggressive Lee Sin play that we saw from Vodka? And then I guess the question is, does Lee Sin even make it through this game? Because last game it was quite the pick.
There could be an argument to say that to ban the Lee Sin, but there are other like junglers that kind of does very similar things that we banned in the first game. Say the Hecarim, the Viego. These champions can do a similar thing with Lee Sin, although not as high tempo. Still very very good in the mid game. So I'm not sure that Lee Sin ban would help Ex Machina as a whole. I think it's more like the kind of draft that they do that might change the things up.
Okay. One thing maybe we can touch on, because again it was kind of a winning point for DMU, was bot lane. Lucian Nami got the better of the poke Ashe Heimerdinger. So how do Exeter change that up? Do you think they change it at all? Oh well, I guess
they
that
just banned
the
it. Yeah.
Yep.
The Nami ban coming out, recognizing, oh my god, the Evelynn ban coming right back from DMU. So wow, another Lulu ban as well. So I assume these are targeted ban. The Lulu may be just to avoid that kind of I guess Lulu affiliates or that kind of like bot lane, or Lulu Twitch actually. And the Camille ban comes up here.
Nautilus taken away as well, so 3 supports taken away by Exeter, really trying to limit the DMU bot lane, as Caitlyn will be the insta-lock here. That is how the change is going to be. They're going to take Caitlyn. It was banned away in game 1, so Caitlyn will be drafted, and Wukong Virus going to be the answer from DMU.
Caitlyn Lux, the really standard bot lane we see a lot, and the Lilia comes in. So going now into this kind of like farming jungler and trying to affect more the mid to late game rather than the early game. The GP ban coming, I'm not quite sure why is that. GP is a good champion, it's just like not quite in the meta. But Varus Renata, very very strong bot lane in the mid game, especially with Renata, is one of the best enchanters in the game. If you survive the laning phase with Renata, your team fight potential is like 1,000,000 times more useful than the opposing Lux.
And the top lane from last game completely taken out with Renekton and Ornn bans. Azir going to be taken away as well. There's Syndra back, but now it will be in the hands of Razor. So we'll see how Sana chooses to answer into that Syndra, now having played it last game. This would be a pick that I am excited about.
I want to see this. You have to pick this. You have to pick the Yone here. Yone, well, you have to because it's exciting. So Yone, doing what you said in before game is that we have these top and mid AD champions paired with the Lilia AP champions that kind of spreads out the damage types. And obviously I was excited for more melee champions. Like, you want to play more aggressive, then you have, okay, cool, you have the Caitlyn Lux who apply pressures on the bot lane, and then you have this melee champions that also have good. Oh, I think they probably have good matchups into this lanes and trying to do basically fights in the top lane. But the problem is DMU has quite a good draft. So Malphite kind of does its thing into the, I assume would be the Jax because it was the Yone mid, and Syndra does poke out Yone a lot as well. But Yone is a very skilled, mechanically heavy champion, so we have to see how Sana Oo like navigates this lane, because a good Yone and a bad Yone has a big difference, and we want to see Sana Oo succeed in this champion.
I asked last game, Cookie, how do Exeter change it up? And one thing I love is that they were willing to take skill champions. So the Yone, the Jax as well. These are champions that you don't just first time and do well on, especially into the likes of a Syndra. Like that Yone is going to struggle early lane. It's fair to say the poke will be hard to deal with. So I love that they're willing to pick it in a high stakes match as well. This loss would see Ex Machina out of Newell for winter 2022. So yeah, they're very brave. And the thing I like to see as an AD carry main is playing Caitlyn and seeing a Lilia, because sleep is just so easy to put your trap down. Like, you cannot fail that. So that instantly I'm thinking, if they can get that bot lane ahead and they can get Caitlyn ahead, well, they've already got pretty good setup going into the late game. It's exciting, that draft coming through from Ex Machina.
Yeah, it's absolutely exciting. And the Wukong jungle, I haven't... Well, Wukong... kind of been in and out of meta from DMU side, and they picked the Wukong jungle. Not exactly sure how it would affect the game. What I think is that when Lilia is focusing on trying to perhaps doing some dive bot lane, or trying to like, because Lilia will tend to be more bot lane because bot lane has the prio, and maybe Wukong can just say, okay, you have a melee champion in the mid lane. I could try to force out some summoners. Top lane as well. Top lane is a long lane, and also Malphite, picked by DMU, have this really long range engaged. Then you can catch out the Jax fairly easily once 6 is hit.
But you say, like, you know, obviously with top lane early game, how does that lane progress? Because Jax is kind of a menace in the side lane. I don't know if Malphite can quite answer that. So is it going to be looking for the team fights for DMU around the Malphite ultimate?
Well, if you pick Malphite, you are definitely looking for a team fight. You're looking for the one to be engaging and trying to... So Malphite will be the one that engages, and then you have probably someone on the flank that kind of comes in. Wukong will be on the flank, comes in, and then like everything just... It will be a one fight if they achieve like good positioning. For Ex Machina, you play the side lanes. You have the Yone, you have the Jax, you have much stronger side lanes than your opposing team. Then you have to play it so that those team fights cannot happen, because when the waves are pushing, when people are threatening your towers, they have to deal with that and they can't come to a team fight. So that is usually how the game is played, when one team has that side lane advantage and the other team is team fight orientated.
And one thing we haven't really spoken about, we had a look at the mid lane, we've had a discussion around the top lane. We're questioning the Wukong jungle, but bot lane specifically. You mentioned that this Caitlyn Lux will have push, and that's fair enough. Can they utilize this bot lane though with a Lilia? Do we see them play continually through bot lane, or do they use that to facilitate other points of the map? How do you see them playing out through the bot lane?
Lilia has to play bot lane first. Like, this is a must, because Caitlyn Lux, your first... If you're good enough, then yes, Caitlyn Lux can just automatically have the push and should win the lane. But you want to make sure that happens. Especially, you're not sure that, you know, Varus and Renata can have some kill pressure in the lane. So you want that Lilia in the bot lane, at least just covering the lane, and make sure that the Caitlyn Lux things happen. The Caitlyn Lux thing that happens is taking platings and not allowing kind of answers from DMU side. So once that happens, then you can try to spread that lead into other maps. The best thing that happens to Ex Machina would be that you actually break open the bot lane turret quite early. Then you move the Caitlyn Lux around to get other platings. So playing that kind of plating game, basically, that allows you to accumulate that gold and have a really good, strong mid game, basically.
Maybe I'm tempting fate here. Last game, Ex Machina did draft a poke bot lane, and it didn't quite go how we wanted. Like you say, that's where the jungle's going to go into. We're going to have to see if they can respond, because last game, Vodka kind of had his way on the map. I am interested to see how this Wukong goes, though. I'm guessing it'll still be a Ravenous Hydra rush. Everyone's rushing it anyway, so that might help. But early game, Lilia's just got such a fast clear. And even though they did nerf invades and stuff, I do wonder if the Wukong's going to be able to keep up with that Lilia.
Yeah, me too. I am not convinced yet that Wukong is like the go-to champion in the jungle. But obviously, if we see like quite a few jungle bans, then Wukong, that kind of like maybe B/A tier champion, just like pops up when the bans come through, and you want like that bruiser in the jungle. So we are into game, and we have looks like looking across like summoners and runes, looks like very standard stuff. The Malphite Hoodoo going for the comments, so going for kind of the early poke, which is fairly standard. TP Ignite from Refresh, so really focusing on that kill pressure in the top lane as well.
As we see, Ex Machina did do this last game as well, tried to go for a 5-man invade. Soxu will pick it up. So they're just going to walk that one back out there. They are going to see, though, that they didn't spot the Wukong there. So Vodka maybe can look for a bit of an invade. We'll have to see here. They're just going to back that one out.
Yeah, a ward drop semi-deep into Ex Machina's jungle will spot out only the Jax right now, but if you don't see Lilia here, then you probably can assume that Lilia is going for the bot lane start. But maybe that could change though, because Lilia actually starting perhaps the chickens? No, actually just going into the blue side right now. So Lilia does start with the top lane. Will get spotted by that ward the DM you placed. Lilia will be clearing from the top side and trying to influence the Caitlyn Nox lane as we were talking about.
Vodka here starting with a solo start on the red buff. Again, both junglers starting on their top quadrant and going to be pathing down. We hyped it up so much in the pre-game that bot lane will be the focus here. If Last and Tim can get the push, we're going to have to see here. Cleanse on both AD carries, definitely heads up there. We've got a lot of CC coming through and a lot of things you're going to want to cleanse as an AD carry. I was wondering, we didn't get a chance to cover, but if we'd see a poke virus come through because of what we've seen from Ex Machina, but it is going to be the lethal tempo, so the on-hit for the virus there as Razor just getting the better of this matchup. Like we said, very rough here early for this Yone.
It would be kind of normal when Syndra kind of like gets an early push and then like hits you with a QE. It will be fine for Sana OO, like just have to like chill a bit, wait for a Doran Shield regen and just like hit some minions. And the situation will kind of change when level 6 hits, and the lane will change dramatically after that. But for now, on the back foot, and Lapfan just spotted here by the ward as well, placed by Razor, I believe.
Yeah, nice heads up ward there. Top side, we do see actually very low health bars, so we'll just have to keep a small eye on that. Both very unhealthy here, but both junglers, just as I say, going through the motions here. Razor does have the push in to be expected, but looking at the mini-map and bot lane, it's push for Ex Machina's bot lane, exactly like you spoke about, Cookie. And with junglers around, I wonder if they could look mid here to try and change it up. 4 does come through for Razor there.
Yeah, it might be too early to look mid. It might be Vodka trying for a dive mid lane, but looks like Vodka probably going for the scuttle or just like trying to cover bot lane right now, as we can see Lapsfan already like on the scuttle spot, so ahead of Vodka here.
And look at what the Prio brought there for Ex Machina. The bot lane was able to walk up as well, helped Lastfan just feel a bit better. And as we say that, it is top lane, like I said. Refresh able to get the better. So last game, it was Hoodoo got the first blood, but this game, Refresh will get his revenge. Could this be the turn that Exeter need? First blood going the way of the Jacks.
Actually really important. As we were saying, like Exeter wants these side lanes to be strong. And Refresh getting that kill there so crucial, like just getting the Jax ahead, so automatically from a lane that kind of is kind of Malphite can be doing fine until some point when Jax finishes like a mythic and another item. Now it will be much earlier. Bot lane fighting though.
A nice handshake coming through. That's cleanse already being used from the virus, but a flash coming through from the Lux will keep them alive. Last flashing forwards, but Renata doing what they can to keep Varys alive. He flashes forward, but not able to trade that one back there, as Lester's going to walk this one out. It's a double kill going to this Caitlyn, and despite the early route coming through from the DMU bot lane, it's Exeter who are able to answer back with the double kill.
Yeah, Exeter. It's really good for Caitlyn to have this early lead, because you can, as we were saying, it's a plating game for Caitlyn Lux. Like, having this lead allows them to actually take a lot of gold off the table once they just keep pushing the lane again and again. And for DMU, very unfortunate. Soxu trying to flash in the bailout mode, trying to get the reset, but unable to do so. So now that bot lane has no summoners for DMU.
It's a stark contrast here from game 1, where it was DMU who just constantly had the pressure. Razor here has no mana, but Vodka has shown up, gonna dash forward, will force the flash out. As Razor flashing forward, the Q damage there will not be enough. Asandra's able to recall there, so despite getting the summoner advantage, Razor not able to secure that kill.
Yeah, over-ambitious, overestimating damage, but then my top lane, there's something happening.
Refresh gonna dive forward there. Ignite is used as well, and with the Lilia there, that will be another kill going to this Jax. 2-0 now already sat on the Sheen. It's kind of looking pretty good for a Refresh in this top side.
I love this adaptation from Lapsfan. So Lapsfan not just saying, okay, usually my plan would be going to bot lane, but actually, opportunistically, you see that top lane, there's a your Jax is ahead, then I will just go there and make the Jax more ahead and make that another threat on my team.
It's already a 1,500 gold lead. Can Exeter continue to grow this lead? Stacked Wave pushing it in here for the DMU bot lane, and Dragon is on the map, so we'll have to see if they can try and turn that one. Maybe that's a way back in, stack these early Drakes here. There's a bit of poke just going forward and back. A nice route coming through from the looks there. The trap is down. There's the net as well, so the double headshot will come through. And Soxu at about half health. Pani Iwa also about half health here. And Laf's just able to walk up there. A nice trade coming through for this 2-0 Caitlyn.
Yeah, the infamous Caitlyn Lux combo. Very, very disgusting and executed very well here. And looks like Soxu has to just take it back here. And also Pani Iwa will also take it back. That means Caitlyn Lux will have just more time, more to push the wave, push out the wave. And actually, looking like they are not pushing as aggressively as they should. If we look at the minimap, they're kind of freezing it a bit or just stacking a wave.
Very interesting, but I think they know they can just deny a little bit here from this DMU bot lane, just get a bit more of a stacked wave here. And then with the Lilia around as well, I guess maybe look for the Dragon. Vodka has gone towards his top side quadrant, so maybe a trade available here. Lilia just going to hover this recall here as well. So it's a pretty neutral map state. The gold lead about 2,000 now, so slightly growing in the favor of Exeter. And like I say, it's a stark difference to game 1.
Yeah, I love how Exeter is like in basically the driving seat now. Refresh going for these trades, like knowing that there will be some. Obviously, Hoodoo is quite healthy right now, but the ignite from Refresh is coming out, and Refresh can try to look for another kill in maybe like 30 seconds. Oh, sorry, around a minute.
Just taking a look at these pings here. Sonata's playing out of the vision here, so that I don't think they knew where he was for a second. As Last Fan is walking up here. There's another jump forward on Refresh. Is below 100 health here. Shutdown actually going the way of Hoodoo. Does flash out here, but the damage coming through. Lily is going to have to use her ultimate there to secure that one. 1 for 1 there, actually. As we get no breaks here. As the Cyclone is being used here. Actually, Razor's going to be picked up on the backside there by the looks. So I think Vodka is going to have to count this one out here. Sana has the stacked Q here. Going to get that knock up. W there will be enough, and E forward from this Yone will secure that kill. It's a double kill in the mid lane for Exeter, who just continue to balloon this lead.
Yeah, it is now at 3k, so despite a Refresh falling down in that top lane skirmish, it's all still good news for Exeter. I'm just slightly worried that, like the Varus Renata is actually scaling fairly well despite early deaths. Lapsan here starting off the Herald, which will help them take platings, but if we look at the platings bot lane specifically, we can see that there's still 5 platings on DMU side, and actually it is Soxu and Pani Iwa taking the platings off Exeter's hands.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the gold difference, these AD carries are just like neck and neck despite the double kill going the way of Kaylin. So you say that 20 CS advantage as well. It's just going to be doing so much as Refresh, just no fear here, dashing forward onto this Malphite, trying to get these trades in his favor. Yeah, I mean, maybe bot lane is the saving grace here for DMU. Like you say, scaling up not too badly here. I'm guessing, or rather I'm trying to see how Vodka can sort of look for picks here now with the level 6 available.
Yeah, I just think Vodka needs to be even more proactive. We can see that Lapsfan actually doing a lot more than Vodka in this early game, despite Lilia being this kind of farming jungler people usually refer to. But if you kill it quickly, that means you have more time to do other stuff. So that's why Wukong haven't been showing up, but maybe sitting on the wings here, trying to do a sneaky gank here.
Yeah, Ultimate just about to come off cooldown here. I don't think he's going to find anything here. So yeah, going to choose to back up here as well. Nice E there from the Lux actually to sniff out in the vision. We'll have to see. Wukong does have Ultimate available. The handshake is going to land. There's the Renata Ultimate as well. It's not going to land onto anybody, but will force flashes across the board. The Soxu is trying to flash forward as well, but Last Fan is here. The Lilting Lullaby will land onto 2. Lux Ultimate layered on top of that. And with the Lilia here, it is Exeter able to get the kills across the board. There will be an answer from DMU, but it's 3 for 1 in favor of the Exeter bot side.
Wow, that's just going all Exeter. A very good fight by Exeter and like a very fast response from Lilia to come and cover up the bot lane. And yeah, you have to count these summoners. Like the flashes from Labs and Tim are very, very crucial when you try to do something, and you just have to like try to get them out before you commit all your abilities or commit like your basically like positioning into the play. Top lane here, a bit more trading. The Sundra being built by Refresh, and that will just basically mean from now on, Jax is having a more healthy time against the never mind mid lane fighting.
Oh, the flash and the third Q. The damage actually won't be enough. Lapsfan is here as well with Paniwa, the number advantage. Can the Lux... Oh, a beautiful flash there from Razor to dodge the Lux laser. Will mean that Razor can walk this one out. The wave will be pushed in. Herald is available here for Lilia as well. Dragon's still on the map as well, by the way. So I think with Herald going down mid here, Dragon may be where Exeter set their sights.
Yeah, Dragon is good, but I think Herald is the more important kind of objective for Exeter right now. You want, as the team with these strong side lanes, you want to open the map as soon as possible. But if Dragon is free, obviously take it. But looking at the mid lane, like we saw like from early on that, you know, Razor was having the better time in lane, poking out the Sana Owo constantly. But now we see Sana Owo having so much damage in that like all-in trades. Like it's a bit tough for Razor to try to poke and at the same time be not in danger, basically.
Especially now that Razor's gotten a flash. Tim sorted that one with the final spark from the Lux there. So no flash on the Syndra means very immobile. And as I say that, we cut straight back to mid, and it is Sana with the solo kill. He's going to take a tower shot, but it will not matter. 2-0-1 now, so despite the early pressure, Sana able to turn this one around now and looking very strong on this Yone. Oh, and Refresh just cannot walk out of that one. That's a point-blank Malphite ulti. Still has about 200 health here, so maybe now, okay, Cyclone will come through there from Vodka. Bit of proactivity from this Wukong, and it's a nice trade kill on the top side.
Yeah, in the end falls down, but also not the worst in the world. You know, you made a play mid lane, and you know it was good play from Vodka. Lapspan looking to clean up some kills, perhaps looking for 1v2, perhaps.
Won't land the bowling ball there, but a double Lilting Lullaby here will mean a sleep for the entire top side of DMU, and Last just have so much damage here. That'll be a clean double kill coming through for this Lilia. Now 5, 1, and 2. Quite the lead here for this Lilia.
Yeah, it's just good observation, knowing that you can take the 1v2, knowing that the Cyclone and the Unstoppable Force are both down. You can just take it this fight and win the 1v2. So very good limit knowing. Razor coming down.
Sana has dashed over. Root will land onto 2. Razor's ultimate not going to be enough to take down Timur. They're going to use the shield as well, but it looks like Exeter will trade this one back, and they will. Razor just not able to get the kill there, and with Sana already down there, that kill will go in favor of Exeter.
Yeah, despite a late exhaust, Syndra doesn't quite have enough damage to kill people yet. Like, having the 0-3-0 at the moment and only having the Luden's Echo right now. Syndra typically also wants the Magic Penetration Boot to be able to start doing significant damage, and also Syndra does spike when you finish that Shadow Flame, and the Shadow, all these 3 Magic Penetration items will allow Syndra to actually kill other weaker members of the team. But again, you're kind of in poverty right now. You have no kills to your name. You are slightly behind in CS, so Syndra is a very stunted in development.
And really nice timing there from our observer to show us the gold differences across the board. 1,700 gold in the mid lane. What was even in the bot lane is now at 1,000 gold lead. Jungle, 2,500. Like, it's just huge advantages across the board. The only thing that's not is top lane, and it's a tank Malphite. So it's not, it's not where you want your gold to be even. As Pani Iwa flashing forward, won't hit the handshake with a nice flash coming through from Lats, but Vodka is here with the Cyclone, gonna force out the flash and the cleanse there from Caitlyn, and shut down going the way of Vodka.
Yeah, it's so important to see that despite the kind of like kill lead of 10 kills, the gold lead is around 5k. 5k is not insurmountable, and I really like Vodka doing this place like recently, either in the top lane and in the bot lane. Although the Herald is taken now, and maybe Howdo might be in some trouble here.
Does look like a nice route going to land through. Lilia's also got a bit of hurt, burn damage, and yeah, last fan will just go down there. Training the tower, I think, knew he was overextended there, but gets the tower nonetheless. It may be not too bad when you're against the Jax, who's going to want that side lane pressure.
Yeah, it's not that bad, especially when your Malphite is kind of a very low econ champion. If he missed some XP, some gold, so be it. More importantly, on DMU's team, champion to look out for who can carry this game is Soxu. Soxu on this Varus, still building up to the Rage Blade. Once the Rage Blade is finished, then he'll get more power, but most importantly, Varus does spawn the 3 items. On 3 items together, paired with a Renata Glass, she will be like devastating in team fights, and DMG's job right now is to constrict the gold lead, like try to stop the growth of this gold lead from Exeter. Like if they can do that, they can give up like maybe 2 more dragons. They have around like 10-15 minutes to play with, depending on how fast Exeter goes for these dragons, and by that time maybe they can do like a final stand. That would be the best chance.
Ocean Dragon coming onto the map now. So only the second dragon on the map, so no soul points or anything here. We see the dance for the vision here. Exeter currently the ones with the advantage. Gonna have a couple of wards, and it's pretty dark in the river for DMU with the gold advantage as well. Maybe they look to give this one up. We may see a 5v5 here. Refresh is already here. I think Hoodoo very aware that this dragon's gone. Gonna walk back towards this top lane. So Ocean Dragon will be going the way of Exeter, and that puts them on 2 dragons at 18 minutes. We're still a ways off Soul, but it is another way back into this game, as Soxu is not sidestepping that one. There's the final spark. Gale Force actually will mean that last was rooted under the tower there, so 1 for 1 so far. Letting a little bag come through, and Lux has been forced to flash out here. And with the Yone coming through, that will spell the death of Vodka. It's 2 for 1 in the bot lane, as well as Drake going the way of Exeter.
Seriously, look at the damages that Lapspan and Sana Owo put out. Like, literally, Bunky just disappeared. Wow. So despite some like good play to kind of like try to salvage the situation, still Exeter coming out on top. And I think the good thing is like refresh has not been unleashed yet, so the silver lining for DMU is that the strong laners of Exeter's side is now Sana Owo, but Hoodoo is still doing fine into refresh into the side lane. That might change though. The team is trying to help.
Unstoppable Force there will be used to get Hoodoo out. Final Spark just thrown out to try and stop any recalls or anything, but Hoodoo will be safe there on this recall. Herald bot side as well did pick up the tier 1 there. Soxu overextended by the looks of it again. 3 versus 1 seems pretty unfair, as they're now 7, 1 and 3. Lilia just continues to run rampage across the map, taking everything from DMU here in this game too.
Yeah, that's very bad news. Like, just like being overextended in the mid lane. Basically, although there are no objectives on the board and the turrets cannot be pushed, you can see that what Exeter did is to put wards deep into DMU's jungle. Again, your towers are gone, tier 1 on top lane and mid lane. Okay, tier 1 is not gone, but tier 1 mid lane is gone. And oh, never mind, TP coming in. They're looking for early Baron, actually.
TP actually going to be coming through from Razor there as well onto that top side. Hoodoo can do a little bit to face check here. Has the health bar to do so. There is vision there onto Vodka. Baron at 3,000 here. Keep an eye on Sana. There it is. The knock up onto 2 with the Lux ultimate on top. It's already 2 dead for DMU. They're trying to find this backside, but Last Fan flashing in. The Lilting Lullaby will land onto 2. Traps coming down from Caitlyn as she tickles this Malphite. Malphite actually is able to trade one back with the Unstoppable Force there, but Razor taken down as well. Soxu will not be able to steal Baron today. We will not see a world repeat as 4 still alive and Baron going the way of Exeter.
That is such a big momentum swing for Exeter. I really love their call. Like, on the dot, 20 minutes, we can do it right now with all those champions that can do Baron quite fast, including Yone and Lilia. And obviously you have like other damage champions on your team as well, which do this very fast. And now with this purple buff, you can just like start pushing down turrets. We see the top tier 1 fall, the mid tier 2 fall. That means like the gold lead is now around, oh my Jesus, it's like 10.5k. And that just means Exeter has complete control of this game at the moment.
And I mean, they have complete control at the moment, but does DMU even have a way back into this game is my question. I'm struggling to see it. Layered CC in a team fight is not bad, but do they have the damage to follow that up? That's the question right now.
It will require a lot of positional mistakes from Exeter to lose. It's very, very hard because your champion to scale is your Varus, but your Varus isn't going to get 3 items before the end of the game. Your Syndra is also very stunted. So these two kind of like carry champions that are going to push out the most damage in teamfights are not fed. Instead, your kills went to Vodka, who's on a Wukong, which is good, but it's not a 1v5 champion. Your 2 kills went to Hoodoo, who is, you know, on Tank Malphite, which is like not the champion that deals damage. Basically, DMU just doesn't have damage. But if you don't have damage, then that means Exeter can just group up and push these towers as they're doing right now. Refresh and the rest of the team basically hammering on this tier 2 tower.
Okay, in a game 2, where it matters most in losers bracket semi-finals, Exeter are doing what they can to come back in this game. Tim O'Topper, by the way, is 1-0-15 on this Lux. You can tell how badly he wants to win this game and force the game 3 to keep Exeter in this one. Prize playoff finals are so close. That live final coming up in a few weeks is so close. Can Exeter bring this one back here? Waves pushing across the board. Baron's still up for a little bit longer here for Exeter. 20 seconds on Dragon. Do DMU look to respond with a dragon fight?
I would think absolutely not, but I cannot see a better opportunity for DMU to try. So they should be like grouping as a 5 to look for isolated members, as these members kind of spread out to take some jungle. But it looks like it's a bit too late right now, as you know they have already converged on this Inferno Dragon. Maybe refresh an option right here.
I think they're maybe looking for it, right?
Yeah, I did think they were looking for it, but you know, refresh just didn't go left, and now they're probably looking for Sana Owo.
Does have flash available if he face checks into this one. There's the Unstoppable Force on top, rooted up by absolutely everything, and 1,000 gold going the way of Vodka here. Game 1 MVP will pick up that 1,000 gold. But look at Exeter on the minimap. They're pushing this bot wave, they're pushing this mid wave, they're trying to answer back. It's a nice pick, but is it enough?
It's the first step to a great comeback, as one would say. So it's just very good that DMU are still being proactive, knowing that these Exeter members will be spreading out over the map to try to maximize their pushing the waves and maximize their gold, and rightfully punished. And they just have to repeat this a couple more times before the timer runs out. The timer for them is 1, the dragon that happens in 4 minutes, 2nd, the baron that comes up in 2 minutes. So these two are something that DMU want to find a pick before these objectives spawn. If you can achieve a numerical superiority before the Baron, the objective fight, then you can stand a good chance of like defending that.
1 minute 50 till Baron. Just take an eye on the vision on the mini-map. There's a nice ward here, so Vodka will be spotted up taking this red buff. Tim just not afraid to walk up with the crown up as well. Has lapsed on the backside. Look at how much health this Lilia had. We didn't spot this earlier. We didn't talk about it at least, but this Lilia has built the Jack Show item, which we spoke about, so we're already seeing some of these new tank items on the jungler, like you alluded to, all the way back before game 1. But just keeping an eye on vision here. A minute until the Baron. DMU are going to try and clear out what they can, but it's scary to face check now into this Exeter team with how fed some of these members are.
Yeah, it's absolutely really hard. Oh, Banny, we're trying off our play, but teleport is coming in.
Double teleports, actually. We've already got no items for Pani Iwars. They're already going to be taken down. Razor's already forced into the stopwatch. A nice Lux ultimate to get them on the back of that stopwatch. Yone's already dead here, and Refresh is trying to do what they can. Cyclone is going to interrupt that, so Vodka trying to do what they can. They are able to flash out, but they're dead as well. Lilia does have the Lilting Lullaby and this low health bar there on Razor. Exeter just going to push this wave, and a pretty good fight for DMU in the mid lane.
Yeah, not the worst fight at all. Although the thing that makes Exeter so strong hasn't changed. So in this 3v3, that the 3 members that remained, Exeter is able to collect all the farms in the side lanes and in DMU's jungle. So DMU is still being choked on economy and resources. But it's still good to see them like playing proactively, trying for fights, and you know, another fight might be better.
And they're doing what we said. They're finding those angles for those picks. They're finding the initial kills in fights as well. I mean, it was scary that Lilting Lullaby wasn't used at all in that fight. I don't think Last Fan managed to find a good angle for it, so that could have turned that fight entirely. But yeah, we've got 1 minute 40 until Dragon End, and now I'm thinking there's hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel for DMU in this one.
There could be, but Exeter will be investing heavy, so we can see that Tim... Oh, never mind. DM is trying something in the mid lane.
Yeah, Razor's going to land that stun. Sana is going to try and flash out a nice handshake, but there we go. Sana's going to use that ultimate to get out. That will put that on cooldown for a short while, but able to get out from that one in the mid lane.
Yeah, that's still the correct play that DM is doing, but as they kind of recall, perhaps Exeter will try to start as Baron. They have the necessary vision set up to contest this, and looks like, yes, DMU is not taking a base jet, just staying on the map, making sure that no fancy business is going on.
50 seconds on the Dragon. Where is this next fight for DMU? Where do they look to take their advantage here? Again, we're just seeing this dance for vision, and while we do so, I'm going to take a quick look at the scoreboard here. Look at some of these important items. Zhonya's coming through for Lap's Fan. If they can find an angle on the backside of the fight, they can use that Zhonya's to stay alive, keep healthy. We've hit the 3-item power spike here for the Caitlyn, so has the Infinity Edge, and I thank you to our observers for bringing this up. The gold advantages across the board are still pretty strong. 20 seconds left here for Exeter to keep pushing these waves out. Handshake will go wide here, as DMU are just fishing for something.
Exeter has multiple options here, so Exeter can go to play for the waves, but with such a big gold lead, you can just play the team fight. You can just like ARAM it, barrel it down mid lane, or you can do the safest way, is just to say, okay, we will just take the Inferno Dragon here and then fight after.
Blue Vision is going to come down here for DMU. A handshake will land as well, but a route back onto Vodka stopwatch already being forced out early from Razor, will be forced to flash out as well. Asano's trying to do what they can on the backside, but they are already dead here. Caitlyn's managed to trade one back onto Wukang, but Lap's Fan here just doing so much on this Lilia. They're still full health. Razor can hit the Scatter the Weak, but I don't think it's enough here as Refresh will ward hop forward. Exeter just using their advantages across the map here, going to chase this one down. And I think their sights will be set on Baron here. We'll have to see, but they are pinging actually for this one. It's a great team fight for Exeter.
So they're doing absolutely great team fight for Exeter, despite some kind Sana Oo being taken down quite early in the fight. In the end, the Jack Show Lilia is just too strong. You can't kill the Lilia. She just like hops up into the entire of your team and just spins around and dealing massive amounts of damage with the amount of AP she has. So It is very hard to fight these team fights. Very, very hard. But DMU is trying, and Exeter might just do this Baron, and that could be the nail in the coffin.
Game 1, it felt like, was the story of Vodka on that Lee Sin, constantly finding the plays, constantly finding the picks, permanently pushing the advantage for DMU. This game could not be more the opposite, as Last Fan is just taking the game into their own hands and just single-handedly winning the fight. We saw in that last team fight that DMU used everything just on the Yone. They had to use the Malphite ulti, they had to use the Varus ulti, they couldn't have any answers left, and Last Fan found that exact advantage at the end of the fight. They're still full health before they took their advantage into that fight. And now wearing purples, can Exeter close this one out and force the game 3 here in the losers bracket semi-finals?
They should be able to, but they have to be more disciplined with their vision. So they haven't extended their vision line deep into enemy territory that allows DMU to nearly cut out Sana Oa in the top lane just now. So they have to do these visions on this on the both sides of the DMU's jungle, and then proceed into the siege using your superior range on Caitlyn to just a few shots on the turret, really. Oh my Jesus, that's a lot of damage.
Wow, yeah, that's that Infernal Soul Caitlyn ultimate coming through. I think if he didn't sidestep that Lux ulti, that would be scary. But as Exeter here looking to pressure in the base, they've already got the mid inhib down. Reza trying to do what they can to poke back, but it's not going to be enough. Tier 2 top going down as well, as Exeter just forcing advantages across the map here with the Baron buff.
Yeah, it might be not really an answer from DMU side. Losing... Oh, never mind. Fight going on!
Unstoppable Force is going to be used here, trying to answer back. They've already got the first kill, actually. Caitlyn going to trade one back. Going to have to be forced away there because of the low health. It's a disaster, I think, actually, for Exeter. They're just not finding the advantages. DMU found such a good fight here, but look at this. Lilia, so fast, will just be able to go onto this Varus, take that one down. Pani Iwa doing what they can, and despite the initial pick for DMU, it is Exeter forcing game 3 here in the losers bracket semi-finals.
Very well played by Exeter. As we were saying, complete different look from game 1 and game 2. Exeter had the early momentum, early gold lead, and they just kind of like push on and just force DMU to just kind of just... Yeah, they just like choked a lot of economy and resources out of DMU's pockets.
Absolutely. I mean, they, from minute 1, when they, we saw the first blood go the opposite way in top lane, go the favor of refresh, they were just able to keep snowballing, and they played through bot lane exactly like you identified before the game. They played through bot lane, they played through their strengths points. They did exactly what they couldn't do in game 1, which was play through the strength of their bot lane here. So that's 1-1 here. They tie it up, and we are going to be going to game 3. I think we're going to go to a quick break whilst we let these players get set up for this intense game number 3. Who can make their way to the losers bracket finals? Stick around to find out.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Hello and welcome back to Winter 2022 Finals here for League of Legends with Newell presented by Amazon. We've been following Sam J from DMU and Ex Machina for University of Exeter here in the losers bracket semi-finals. Game 1 saw a decisive victory for DMU on the back of Vodka's Lee Sin, but it's Ex Machina who were able to drag it back. Cookie, it's been a crazy night, but what are we expecting to see in Game 3?
It is hard to say because we saw the Caitlyn Lux really flourish for Ex Machina, so perhaps either Caitlyn or Lux, probably Caitlyn, will just get banned out, and Ex Machina will have to find another way to kind of like battle in the bot lane. So we can see like bot lane has been quite important for both teams. So we see junglers kind of visiting it a lot. I don't think Ex Machina kind of exploited the early potential of Caitlyn Lux to the full, but Caitlyn Lux by themselves secured a double kill, I believe. Or actually, I think that was with the help of jungle. But in any case, these strong bot laners, they have to think about. So we had the Illusion Nami from DMU and with the Caitlyn Lux from Ex Machina. They have to think, are there any new stuff that they're going to play? Because these are going to get banned.
Yeah, but I think the main crux of that is also jungle, right? Because even with these strong lanes, Lilia made such a big difference. Lee Sin made such a big difference, and we've seen that kind of be the story of the night so far was Vodka versus Last, and how they've matched up in their clears and their ganks and stuff. And I think the early game for jungle has been really interesting. What I'm thinking might happen in Game 3 is we see very limited jungle pool again. A lot of bans going the way of jungle and really forcing the pair of them to go deep into that pool and drag out something that maybe we're not expecting. Maybe it's like a Karthus. That we could see something like that. The more farming orientated jungle, we haven't really seen that yet.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see like these kind of a draft adaptation and saying that, okay, maybe for DMU, they would say, okay, well, Wukong didn't work, I'll just ditch it and I'll go for something very heavy farming jungle, a more farming style. And I would love to see that because it is kind of the meta right now for the jungle, and these Bruiser champions can work when you get ahead of, but obviously not as well when you're kind of behind and you're struggling to make plays. I really liked how Exeter went for the double melee solo laners with the Yone and the Jax. They really helped DMU actually, because they allowed them to, they didn't play the silent as much as I thought they would, but these solo laning leads or like kind of like kills out of skirmish because of they have more power in the two item power spike, meaning that they can just extend this lead really easily. Especially impressed with Sana OO's Yone. The Fate Seal near one of the Baron fights was perfect and just kind of demolished DMU there. So therefore, it's like maybe some kind of like adaptation from DMU will be saying, okay, if you play top and mid like fighting champs, how about we play fighting champs as well? We can ditch the Syndra, ditch the Malphite. We can just say, okay, we're going Silence Akali and play through top side of the map because we have already focused so much in the bot side. So we will have to see how they adapt. Yeah.
No, and I mean, Silas and Akali, we spoke about it, but neither of them have come through yet. So that's interesting because they still have this potential to answer. I think Syndra may still have priority unless it's banned away. I can't see it banned away because I think Caitlyn will be banned again as it was in game 1. I don't think Caitlyn's going to get through. But I like that you highlight how well Sana played in this game on the Oni, because I think, like, he turned so many fights. You spoke about the Fate Stealer around Baron, but the one that sticks out to me was the fight around the bottom side quadrant where he absorbed everything. There was the Malphite ulti, the Varus ulti. I think Syndra used Scatter the Weak as well, and then all of a sudden Yone was dead, great, but they had nothing left. So yeah, Sana doing a really good job, and maybe not to put unnecessary pressure on, but maybe eyes are on Sana again this game. Can they keep finding those advantages in the late game team fights and turn, well, not even turn because they were ahead, I guess, but keep, like you said, propelling the lead for Exeter?
Yeah, for sure, because mid lane is kind of the thing that kind of determines like how what kind of prow you have in the early game. And Sana Oo on the Yone kind of like absorbed the kind of poke early on, but like came back with the help of teammates and also securing a couple kills there, and that kind of like blew the game quite open. And I really do want to see like a lot more jungle proximity towards mid lane. We have seen jungle proximity into the bot lane, into the top lane. Mid lane, I don't know why it kind of like gets a lot less love. It's not like even when we have two control mages, say if we have the Syndra, we still have setup. If we have the Yone, we definitely have setup. So yeah, I just want to see junglers play more for mid, because it seems like whoever kind of like edges out in the mid lane have a significant advantage, because in game 1 we saw Azir versus Syndra matchup where the Azir poked out the Syndras heavily and Syndra cannot basically play the game. And in second game where it was this time Sana on the Yone getting poked out early, but with jungle help turned it around, and then the team kind of gathered around the mid lane and then just took the turret. So I want to see some adaptations of like the playstyles, basically.
Okay, that's something to keep an eye on. I think mid, it's been like chaotic, but it's been chaotic for other reasons than jungle pressure, and that's why I wonder if we see a Caitlyn ban come through and we see bot lane forced into a less of a pushing like state like we saw in game 2, then it opens up this mid lane. And then that builds on the idea of if we're picking the Silences and the Akalis and the melees, I do think that can open up the mid lane. I'm still wondering if we see an Evelynn, that then might open up the other jungler to play more aggressively as well. So I doubt Evelyn's going to make it through after the last 2 games of being banned, but it's interesting to think about.
It's absolutely interesting because you are sacrificing some bans into these kind of like uncharted champions, because usually like by the time you play game 3, you know that some champions you don't want to let through anymore after they played in game 1 and game 2. And this opened up the champions that you previously banned that can come up in game 3. And obviously Evelynn requires a very specific playstyle from the player. It's very different from other junglers. And obviously it's like very heavily played by both junglers. So I wonder maybe something like blue side would just say leave it up and then force a ban from red side basically, or you have to play into the event. As we say that, we're going to draft.
Yeah, and just to point it out, teams have swapped back. And before we even get into the second ban, Evelyn already gone. And there's that Caitlyn ban. So that's what I expected. Red side are going to ban that one away. They're not going to give DMU a chance to take that Caitlyn and build on the pressure that we saw in the last game. Camille also taken away. And Nami as well. So we're not going to get a run back of the Lucian Nami.
Yeah, so as we were talking about, a lot of these bot laners will be banned out. The Lilia coming out as well, really respecting the power of the Lilia. And the Wukong ban is a bit head-scratching, but never mind that. Varus coming in as the first pick.
Oh, with Lulu. Oh, Lulu Jinx. Okay, here we are. So, Ex Machina are throwing down the gauntlet and saying, take us to the late game, and Jinx will run over everything with this matchup. As DMU are going to run back the Varus Renata and pick up Azir for Razor.
Yeah, a bit of going back to, I guess, the kind of comfort playstyle where they have the scaling champions. And that's not a bad thing per se. We have the Echo perhaps being a pickup here.
As we wait to see. I think it's going to be locked in. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there's going to be Echo picked up for Ex Machina.
That's great. So we can see Echo really strives in this like early to mid game where you have a lot of base damage, a lot of like I mean surprisingly like the Divergence actually can do a lot of disruption on the back line. So I think it's a pretty good pick. I'd have to see whether it's going to the mid or jungle with some quick fire bans coming out. So we have Karthus, Jax ban, and Renekton and Jarvan as well.
A slight pinch on the jungle pool. Is Sejuani going to be picked up? And if we know anything about Sejuani at the minute, it is a bit of a flex pick. Can go top or jungle right now. But Vodka got the Lee Sin back, but with Aurelia locked in, that means Sejuani will be going into the hands of the Ex Machina jungle. Last had such a good game last game on the Lilia carry. We'll have to see how they do on tank duty here in game 3.
Yes, and Sejuani is a pick that we kind of haven't talked about because it was in and out in the World's Meta and kind of, I guess we kind of forgotten that Sejuani can be a very, very good pick either in the top lane or the jungle. This Gnar, I am not quite sure because Gnar haven't been played by players for a bit now, and if Gnar is playing into the Aurelia, then the laning is a bit tough. So Vodka on this Legion have to be everywhere, have to be trying to save the lanes, well, say I think covering the Gnar lane, but also doing the clearing and advancing other pressure points.
I don't know. I mean, it's a run back from game 1, at least for Vodka and Razor. So they were the carry points in game 1. It was the Azir and the Lee Sin. So they've decided to run that back, like you say, maybe falling back to some of that comfort. One thing that I like is that they've chosen to go back to the Varus Renata, because I think they actually did pretty well in the last game. They were even, if not even, you know, like a bit ahead at some points as well. So that's nice to come back. But one thing that, like you say, Aurelia counters Gnar in a traditional sense, but with a Sejuani and the melee passive coming through, especially with Echo as well, I think Sejuani might have a pretty good game here. It's definitely a good draft for it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you have to look at these kind of compositions holistically, and I do think DMU has drafted a more, let's say, commonly accepted composition. Like you have your, I've talked about this like many times now. You have your very standard cookie cutter team fight composition, but on Exorcist side, you have to do something. Aurelia has to get ahead. Like an Aurelia behind is a cannon minion. I mean, okay, that might be too harsh, but Aurelia needs to get ahead, so you have to find ways to do that. Sejuani can be a very good way to helping the Aurelia, like to secure some of these kills that Aurelia needs. Echo. So Echo, to be fair, I'm not absolutely 100% sure if Aurelia... So Aurelia can be top and mid because Echo can be jungle and mid, and Sejuani can be top or jungle. Okay. So there are still some uncertainty in terms of lane assignments. So we have to before I go too deep into that, I think it might be just better to just see what happens with lane and Cybers in the end, and then go through that.
Yeah, no, in fairness, I hadn't picked up on that. I didn't think about Aurelia mid, so my mistake. I suppose if it is Aurelia mid, then Azir has a bit of a fun time, but yeah, we should wait and see. Something that is interesting, no matter where the Aurelia goes, no matter where Sejuani goes and what have you, Renata Ultimate is going to be pretty big this game because you've got a Jinx, you've got an Aurelia. I think Sejuani passive works like it stacks, right? But no E is pressed in Renata ulti.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Is it the unfortunate situation with Kennen? So interesting interaction with Kennen is if Kennen attacks its own teammates, the stack, you can damage your own teammate with Kennen's W. But I don't think that will be the case on Sejuani, though. So they should be clear on that.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping for. I don't know if there's some weird... That's why I was like wondering if there's a weird interaction there. But even so, Jinx splash damage on the Fishbone Rockets, and then Aurelia, if she's got stacked passive. Renata Ultimate could change a fight here for the better. We've seen some, across the world, some insane Renata ultis. So, like I said, they did so well on that Varus Renata in game 2. It's nice that they're feeling confident enough to run it back. And I think in a better game state as well.
Yeah, and also talking about, because we talked about this Jinx bot lane and the Varus Renata bot lane, I believe it was Lulu that was picked in the support role for Exeter. So the Lulu Jinx bot lane, it's like the bot lane that we haven't talked about in the sense that we were playing Lucian Nami, Caitlyn Lux. They all do two things. Caitlyn Lux does the lane, try to push, Lucian Nami goes for kills, and Lulu Jinx and Varus Renata, they look to scale. So we have two kind of scaling bot laners here, so that means the junglers might just kind of look elsewhere for action. And I did say Renata is the best enchanter in the game, and I would say Lulu is very much a second place, like a very close second place. Lulu has that ability to make someone don't die, basically. Like a lot of extra health with the ultimate, the wild growth, and the health picks on the shield on the Lulu. So it can really, really turn this comms into basically teamfight comms where both teams just go front to back. But the problem is we have this Aurelia on Exeter, so that means they have a slightly different objective where Aurelia has to flank, where DMU can kind of just go for the traditional just walk at the enemy and fight front to back.
Yeah, and I guess or rather you said we hadn't spoken about Gnar because it's not something that people have been playing at the minute, but Gnar is a very skill dependent champion. It doesn't seem like it, but you have to play around the rage, play around the Gnar bar, as people say. If you are showing up to fights without that close to stacked, and you can't get off the big 3-4 man wombo ultis, then Gnar becomes really, really unfortunate. But you're against a Jinx who is hyper immobile, so Gnar actually could be a difference maker in this game.
I absolutely agree. I'm glad you bring that up because Gnar is one of those champions that, never mind that, we can talk about Gnar later. We are into game indeed. And just having a look at different summoners. Okay, back to the Gnar, because Gnar is bringing this summoner, this keystone, which is Fleet Footwork. So very wise choice. Gnar in the early game has to be played very carefully. It's basically a test of your fundamental league skills because you have both your range and your melee form. You have to play both perfectly. So in your range form, you have to do your spacing right. You have to CS correctly because you just have to space out your autos between your trying to poke the Aurelia and the wave. And also, you have to look for flanks in the team fight. You're not a backliner even. You are ranged. You have to look for those flanks as well. So I'm just happy that Gnar is being played because I haven't seen it for a long time. But yeah, that's why I'm talking about Gnar. And both teams look like they're put down one ward on the river and a very standard and kind of conservative opening here. In terms that, both junglers will just kind of get a leash, perhaps. Actually, no. Looks like junglers are just going to the lanes and Vodka will just start leashless in the bot side.
So that's the change-up. We saw junglers starting top side, and now that's not going to happen as this blue side, Pani Iwa has back for the sweeper. Will take a little bit of poke there, but has managed to clear that ward. And just to go over the confusion that we wondered about in Champ Select for Exeter, it is going to be Aurelia top, Sejuani jungle, and Echo mid. So the more traditional places for these champions. But Last Fan is still starting topside, so maybe looking for a bot gank early on, trying to look to get Last ahead. It's in the name, he's a Last Fan. Wants to get this Jinx ahead as Vodka. Just going to do the Krugs here and maybe look to path towards this topside lane.
Yeah, I am. It's a very interesting path. I'm wondering if he's going to do something early at a level 3, but if it's Last Fan by name, Last Fan by nature, then going bot lane is not the worst thing. The problem is you don't have that much setup, so it might be a lot of fruitless gank in the end.
Oh, Sana just not afraid to dash forward. He's going to put Razor down to about 250 health, but there is a bit of poke back through, even that one out for Razor. As we take a quick look at the minimap, it's push in top and bot side here for DMU early on. Gonna have a bit of prior across the board here.
Vodka looking for an invade here might find Last Fan in the Wolves.
Yeah, Sana did just use his dash forward. As you say, Vodka has found Last Fan. I think was able to smite away the large wolf there, so a nice invade paying off for Vodka. Bot lane pings are coming through. They're trying to look here. Sana has no mana at all. Vodka very aware of that. He's still hovering around here. Can he find Sana under tower? Razor is trying to push this one out. Last Fan has shown up here as well. I think just going to scare Razor away. And okay, so a bit of tension early on, but it looks like both teams willing to just walk this one away here. Not try anything too scary in game 3 of this best of 3 series.
Yeah, the risk is probably just not worth it for either teams. But Last Fan looking for another opportunity in top lane now, maybe? Hoodoo spots probably just smells a rat and just like say, I'm just gonna chill a bit, my wave is fine. And Last Fan is still hovering around though.
Well, but Vodka's here as well. Dash coming through from Sejuani. Stun up onto Vodka. Will have the ward dash out here. Refresh is pretty low on mana, so despite landing that stun, not too much left to trade here. Nice trade actually coming through for Hoodoo, so Refresh is going to back that one out, but Crab picked up for Sejuani, and yeah, still a pretty even game state so far.
Looks like Vodka might be hanging around. Actually, no, probably just goes to do another camp, but the wave is pushing towards Hoodoo, so Refresh TP will be forced, and actually going to the bot lane.
Yeah, Laps is already taken down to 200 health here, no mana as well. Refresh dashing forward. Can they land that stun? It's actually going to miss, but the polymorph will come through, and the TP pays off here for the X7 Academy top laner as he gets first blood here on Aurelia in game 3.
I love this call by Exeter. Such a perfect call. Like, you know that if you go back to top